Hey guys, what's up? It's me, J Daddy. Here's another video. And today, this is a little bit different than what I usually do, but I was browsing through YouTube and I found this video. It came up in my feed. This is by a YouTuber called Relieved Dimetrodon. And this is not like a hate video. This is more of me trying to help explain, because it seems like he's probably out of the loop more than anything. And I just want to like clear up the air a little bit to, maybe help out us other content creators, especially like relatively large ones, because sometimes content creators don't realize the influence they have on a community, and a large amount of negativity, whilst could get clicks, also pushes a bad like omen over the community. But I just want to go over his video. I'm just gonna go over and kind of rebuttal a lot of the points that he makes in here. And again, I want to point out, this is not toxic towards him. This is not doing anything. I'm just trying to give a voice to the developers, because a lot of times it feels like they don't have one. But anyways, here we go.
Like, this game's buggy as hell, bro. Like, I'm glad they updated the icons. We needed that so badly. But now...
Okay, first of all, the game is buggy. I'll give you that. The game is pretty buggy. Chicken has been recoding the game and been doing a crap ton of recoding. I mean, when I say a crap ton, I mean a crap ton. If you join the UG Discord, I'll put a link in the description, and you go right here, and I'll show a little clip of me going down. There's a dev stream channel. If you are awake at 7 a.m. to like 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, Chicken a lot of times has been live streaming on there. You can actively see him working on the game. You can actively see other developers working on the game. You can talk to him, ask questions. They are legitimately working on this. They're fixing these bugs. Chicken is literally recoding the game. You can go into DS testing 123, and I'll also put a link in the description down below for you guys to test it out. You could also go check out my other videos on DS testing, because I've made some videos about it. And the game, it feels a lot better than it has. He's changing a lot of things. So this is kind of a redundant point that's been said a billion times and doesn't really say anything.
Shana, and I want to play Christmas Shana. I had to like click on this a million times and then click select a million times because it's not.
Okay, this is actually a pretty valid point. I'll give him that. It's pretty valid. Whenever you're playing the game, like he said, you got to click something a million times. Chicken has taken notice to this, by the way. He watches videos. He has taken notice to this, which is something he's fixing in the recode. So I believe I'll probably throw up a video or a little like clip of me doing it and testing. You can click it once and it's selected. So problem fixed, problem solved. The game is just not optimized. The data stores slows the games down, and he's been working to optimize the game in total. So in the future, this problem will be solved. But that is a very valid point. That was a problem, but it's fixed now.
But could you at least try and fix some shit?
I don't like the way he says, could you at least try? I promise you guys, anyone who watches this video, I promise you guys, I have witnessed firsthand how much Chicken has tried. The other day, Chicken was optimizing the models. There's about 400 models in the game, and he was going through every single model, fixing every single hitbox, changing all of them. They even did a resize. Do you know how long resizes take? Resizing everything in the game, changing the hitbox of everything in the game. Chicken got through maybe half of them in like 4 hours. That is not a little amount of work. That is a lot of work. So saying, can you at least try? Whilst you might not be trying to say, that they're not trying, the way it comes off towards the development team can be very negative, and to young ears who don't understand what you're saying, that could also come off wrong, and everyone could just believe, oh, well, the developers aren't doing anything. When I promise you, they are. I promise you guys, they are doing so much. And like I said, you guys can join the Unhashed Games Discord and witness it firsthand. Anyways.
Your 200,000 DNA avian schist is going to get absolutely clapped by some guy's 500 DNA Carnosaurus. You will lose. It makes no sense. It completely invalidates anything in this game. It is so frustrating.
Okay. Right now, Evannus is really, really bad. I'm not gonna lie. I agree to a certain extent about this. I agree. Evannus is actually getting a buff. They've been talking about it in UG. They've talked about it in streams. They've talked about it in chat. Pitch has said some things. I'll see if I can't find some screenshots of what Pitch has said. I do agree to a certain extent, but price should not purely dictate how good something is. My 200k DNA creature should not beat the crap out of a Rex. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I love Evannus to death. It is my favorite hybrid. I love it to death. You can ask anyone on the Dino team. You can ask any of my viewers. I love Evannus. It is my favorite hybrid, and I wish it was good. But, that being said, it should not be 2018 good. Because if anyone remembers 2018 good, that was not fun. The main thing about DS is balance. You don't want to, you know, take something like the Rex or the Kark or something like that, something that's supposed to be a, you know, an apex predator, and then, you know, spit in its face by someone who has spent way more hours in the game than you, just because they have a better creature. That's not 200k. It's like, yeah, that's a lot, but you know, if you're really worried about it, just don't buy it. Just don't buy it at that point. Which I know that might sound kind of rude and a little bit redundant, but there is a balance to the game. And you don't want it to be where, you know, Albino Terror, Megavore, and Evannus are literally just unbeatable. Because most people have them. And if everybody has, you know, Evannus, Mega, and Albino, and they're super overpowered, then new players just simply won't play the game. Because what'll happen is they'll spawn as their Elder Rex that they eldered in a private server, and then they will get absolutely decimated by hybrids. I feel like there's a certain balance that you need to have. It's not perfect right now, but like I said, restats are coming at some point, so... But I understand where he's coming from. 200k, you know, hopefully there's a good enough buff. And I've already mentioned multiple times what I think the buff should be, and I'll, you know, throw up something about it.
I feel useless, because half my skins and things that people would die to own in this game get clapped out by anything you can buy.
With this, there's like a certain amount of merit to it. I can agree to a certain extent. The reason why it is the way it is right now is because, you know, the developers don't want it to be where all the limited skins are just good and things that aren't limited are bad. Because then again, it pushes this idea that veteran players are just going to be better than you because they played the game before you, which is not fair to new players. And I understand some people are like, well, I don't care about new players. It's like, that's great. But guess what keeps the game alive? New players. So there needs to be a level of consideration for new players and for veteran players. That's why the meta is always changing. Because not that long ago, you know, Solar was the best Megavore skin. Now it's, you know, Classic V2. You know, before that it was Hothead. Before that it was Deep Sea. You know, so the meta is constantly changing. You'll be able to get a chance to use all your skins. I do agree that that there would be nice if there was like an actual system. And I've talked to Chicken about possible systems be adding in like hitboxes, being able to change over time. You know, certain hours of the day. You know, certain hitboxes would be better. But again, that would be a system that would come in during the recode.
Dude, like, why? Because I'm on Gullis Island now, does this thing have this range and this thing has that? Just can't you just make it all simultaneous? Take the time.
Okay, so the thing about this, Chicken has talked about this. He is aware of this. I want you guys and the viewers to understand why it's like that. Because every map is a different studio. And what does that mean? So every map, he has to open a new, like, it's like a new project. And you get teleported to a new, like, game, essentially. And so he has to specifically go out of his way to copy the code over and, like, move it over. So he has to update each one of the maps with their code, like, individually. He's looking into streamlining it to where he can update one map and it updates all of them. That's something he's been looking into. So if anything, that'll come in after, you know, the recode, like I said. The recode won't be done for like another 2 or 3 weeks at the least. But, you know, honestly, I'd rather him take his time and not, you know, release it ASAP just to appease players. I'd much rather it be done and done right and, you know, maybe take a little bit longer than to be done and buggy as the base game, which is, I'm pretty sure that's what he's doing. So there is, I understand why it's annoying, but he is working on it.
I went to, I don't know if I can say this, Withered Willow, right? Its range is insane. But to me, that's okay, because nobody plays this dinosaur, right? So it needs something so people can play it. But the range is on a rare skin. I don't even know if this skin's...
Okay, I'm sure he just misspoke in this part. This is not a rare skin at all. You can still get this. This is a badge unlockable. This is Withered Willow. All you gotta do is find a little branch on the ground. It's like a little bit like rare to find, I guess, but not really. It's been in the game since like 2023, 22. It's been in the game forever. Most people have it. I'm pretty sure by the time this video comes out, it'll already be nerfed. so it doesn't matter. I will agree to a certain extent that, you know, underutilized dinosaurs should probably have better stats, and I'm pretty sure that's what they're probably going to start doing with the restats. Balancing a game is a lot harder than people give, you know, the stat team credit for. Also, I'd like to mention, Chicken isn't the one who does restats. Everything always gets pointed at Chicken. I need you guys to understand, Chicken is the coder of the game. He's the coder and the owner. Chicken does not handle restats. Chicken does not handle models. Chicken recodes the game, and I don't want to say that's it, but that's his main thing. He doesn't model, he doesn't make stats. So, you know, to sit here and point out and be like, oh, Chicken this, Chicken that, Chicken this, it's inaccurate. It's not true. It's not Chicken. It's other people. It's other, you know, moderators. It's other developers. Withered Willow, like, it was pretty overpowered. It was kind of fun for a little while, but again, it's not a rare skin. Probably just misspoke, but anyways.
This makes sense for a combat point of view, and this thing's slow. Like, if you really wanted to, depending on what you're playing as, but let's just say, for instance, Evannus here, that costs $200,000 DNA. And even, I've heard this thing sucks, too, so this is another example, because...
Skila does suck. Blameson's remaking it. Probably in the future it'll be a little bit better, but again, they don't want hybrids to be overpowered and just, like, the craziest thing. They want people to play as other creatures as well. So just making every hybrid super powerful is just... No, it doesn't make sense. It would just hurt the game more than anything. And also, price-wise, I understand that 100k and 200k seems like a lot to, like, you know, newer players. It looks like a lot. It really isn't, if I'm going to be completely honest. If you're just going for that one thing, it takes like 2 weeks to get an Evannus barrel farming, and that's if you AFK on a tree. And speaking as someone who got Evannus when it first came out at 200k, before anything was anywhere near that price, it really still wasn't that hard. I literally grabbed my phone and I would be playing in class. I'd like hide my phone, you know, under the table or something, and I'd have my barrow just sitting there eating underneath the table. You know, I'd probably get my phone taken away a few times, but either way, I still got it. It took about a week of just like non-stop farming, but after that, like, I've had Evannus for what, 6 years? Like, the amount of time it's gonna take to get it is nowhere near how much time you're going to have it. If you just commit to it and do it, it's not that hard. It's the way I have put it in the past is it's less of, you know, like, just straight up expensive and a dumb price. It's a rite of passage. If you can't get, you know, X amount of DNA, then you probably shouldn't have it because you're not dedicated to the game. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with refusing to get something, but that's just... Anyways.
This costs 100k. You know, it's more reasonable because I understand having cool and you know, a stat pool and stuff like that. Like, oh, what's good for combat and what's not. I like that. I like the whole war thing that this game has that people like to do. Okay. It's cool. It's like there's a meta, kinda, right? But I don't like when the meta consists of just completely devaluing shit. Like, it's a hybrid. This should be better. And I know some people can say, oh, just get better at the game. You know, it depends on the player's skill, but not really. There's a lot of things that you just can't do. Like, all the time, people will go and...
You know, like I said, I agree to a certain extent. He makes a valid point here and there. Kark and Avi, honestly, they're both super hard bleeders. I do agree that Evannus needs to have, like, I don't know, 1600 health at least. It was really balanced for a while there when it had, like, 17, like, what was it, 1730, 135 damage. It was really balanced back then. It only had, like, one bleed, and it had its old glide speed. It was pretty balanced back then. It was a strong contender, but it didn't overshadow the meta. Like, you know, like I said, Kark is a big carnivore. That is an apex carnivore. That thing that rivals the size of Rex. It rivals the size of Giga. This thing, Kark, is not a small creature, and I feel like I think it's because of how DS like treats Kark. It's not a small animal. It really isn't. It is an apex predator, and it is a bleeder. It should be good. Honest to God with you, it should be good. And it's not a huge deal that AV loses to it. I wish it would lose, like, less. I guess, like, tie maybe. But to a certain extent, I understand. And he makes a valid point that Evannus shouldn't get absolutely crapped on, but Avi shouldn't also absolutely decimate everything just because it's a hybrid. That makes it where hybrids are just only what people play, and that's not something that as a developer you would want. Because I mean, every single one of the models in the game has been made by a developer. Everything has taken the same amount, I don't want to say the same, but a similar amount of work to be put into the game. And you don't want them, oh, well, this one's a hybrid, so everyone's going to play it more. You don't want that to happen.
Chat and being like, oh, LMAO, bro, logged. What else am I supposed to do? The fact that Irritator or Baryonyx can range me. Like, there's such an imbalance in combat. There's some dinosaurs that if you could come across another player who's at a different dinosaur, that's, like, say, for instance, like Irritator or something, and I'm playing, like, Concavinator, right? There's nothing I can do. The smart option is to menu or log or whatever the hell. That's the smart option, because the game is so imbalanced. There's no skill that's involved in winning that.
Okay. I can see where he's coming from with this one. To a certain extent, I agree. Like, some things, like currently Aurora, Jesus, oh my god. I have a video of me being absolutely decimated by Auroras because their range is insane. The development team and the stat team are paying attention to this kind of stuff. They pay attention to stuff that is, overtuned and whatnot, which Aurora, oh my god, is way overtuned. Jesus, man. But I'm probably one of the only people, one of the very few people who really, really enjoy range. I think range adds another level of combat that you can really, sink your teeth into and learn. Because all the other dinosaur games that, you go and play, all of them, you just run into each other and bite the hell out of each other. And whoever is stronger wins. Whoever has the better stats just wins. That's how every other dinosaur game works. And that, to me, honestly, is boring as hell. That's why you don't see me playing those other games on, this channel. It's because, honest to God, that kind of combat system is just boring as hell. To me, at least. Like I said, he's got a valid point with how some things, like with their range, there's just nothing you can do. And a way the dev team could possibly counterbalance this is, the lower your stats are, the better your range could be. Granted, some variation here and there. Maybe like a change up in meta, like maybe like a preset meta. They could have like sets of like meta that they just rotate out. I don't know if that would be possible. I'm not a coder, but what they could do is they could have sets of different hitbox ranges that they periodically swap into the game, so that you can be like, okay, well, it's this cycle of meta. It's alpha meta, it's beta meta, it's and I'm just throwing out random names. It's omega meta, whatnot, and it would just be like a set of hitboxes. That way, you could just learn it, and that way it would feel fresh and new every time. But again, he does have some valid points about the range. Sometimes it can really suck, but if you really gain an understanding of the meta, and you keep yourself on your toes, you'll be fine out there. I mean, I have almost everything Elder, and I play in public servers all the time. You guys, I'm sure some of you guys have met me in public servers before. Most of the time, I'm prepared, because I have things that I know have good range. All you gotta do is be prepared, honestly. Yeah, you might have to menu against those irritators, but guess what? You'll come back with a Dunkleosteus in the water, or an Archelon. You beat the crap out of them for even challenging you. That's what you do. You turn around and you spit in their face, and you'd be like, you really thought just because I was a concavinator that you're gonna beat me? Yeah, we'll see about that. But anyways,
getting made fun of for logging or something, when in a lot of situations it's literally just your only option.
Yeah, like there's a very big stigma against logging. Honestly with you guys, I'm gonna be completely honest. I only make fun of people when they log, when they're like talking smack in chat. If you log and I'm KOSing you, that's fair. That is completely fair. You can log all you want. And honestly, it's a video game. I don't give a crap if some 12-year-olds be like, oh, logger, dude, you're such a logger, bro. I don't care. I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a crap. But he does. I mean, there's a stigmatism against logging. But yeah, I mean, log. Save your dinos. Don't get messed up by somebody if you don't have to. There's really nothing wrong with logging. Unless you're a smack talker and you're talking smack and then you get your butt whooped, then you're a logger at that point.
I know the developers are tired of this game, and most of the time it only gets these sort of updates because it makes them money, and DA failed.
Okay, before he gets on to his next point, yes, a lot of the developers hate the game. You want to know why? Again, not trying to tech, but it's because of, people like this who are talking crap about the game with almost zero game development understanding, how developing a game works, how balancing works. And look, if you watch this, man, I'm not coming after you. This is not me coming after you. I'm not trying to call you out or anything. I'm just simply stating that, easier said than done is what most of this is. You're like, I think it would just be better to, just fix all of this. It's like, well, fixing all of this takes time and understanding. You gotta have a very good understanding of not only the game, but the numbers as well. You have to be good with numbers to really know what's gonna be good. And you won't ever really know what's good until you give it into the player's hands. You won't really understand how, a bug fix will work until you put it in the player's hand. So, like, these one and done statements of just do it, just fix it, and yeah, the developers update this game because of money. So what? Chicken has bills to pay. I have bills to pay. You have bills to pay. So it is completely fine that the developers are doing this for money. But guess what? Either way, we get what we want out of it. We get updates. The game continues to grow. Either way, like, you can't live off of a passion project unless it makes you money. And that's what initially Dino Sim was. It was a passion project that just became something that made Chicken money. And if you're friendly to Chicken, he's generally a good person. It's not like he's like a money hungry dev. You know who's money hungry? All the DS copy devs. That's what those are. Those are the money hungry ones. But Chicken Engineer, no, he's not money hungry. Yeah, he needs money. Yeah, he might update the game for money, but that's because he needs it. Genuinely, he's a good person, and I don't feel like it's fair to attack him and be like, wow, you just want money. It's like, yes, you need money to live. And for some of you younger people in the audience who might not understand this sentiment, life is very expensive when you get into your adult world. So, don't hold it against Chicken if things, are expensive, or, Game Passes come out, dev products. There's reasons for it, I promise you.
People saying like DA was Dino Sim 2. No, it wasn't. It was not Dino Sim 2. It was another Dino game made by the same developers. It was nothing like Dino Sim 2, and that's why it failed. If it was Dino Sim 2, it wouldn't have failed because people like Dino Sim.
Okay. Now, I'm going to excuse how, almost, incredibly rude this was towards the development team. Because, actually, yes, Chicken has stated publicly multiple times that DA is what DS would have been. DS2 would have been. Because there was a vote a few years ago, if any of you guys remember. DS2 was a thing. He was like, it would be, you keep all your same stuff, right? I just need to recode the game. And it's like, it could be possible that you lose all your stuff. But I just, if you guys want me to recode the game, I will do it. Missed opportunity, honestly. But we're good now. But yeah, DA is what DS2 would have kind of been. Yeah, it took a little bit of a different direction later on. The style was also different. They were trying to, take a style and keep with it, because that's the big problem with DS is you look at 5 different models. They're made by 5 different people, and they look completely different. Even in this one shot here, you see Allosaurus, Classic Allo, and Terror Bunny. Those are completely different models, right? Different years, but even the current models, even if you look on the menu, Stegosaurus versus Poseidon, Concavinator versus Tyrannotitan, completely different modeling styles. And what they were trying to do with DA was they were trying to streamline the style of the game. It wasn't to my personal taste. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't to my personal taste. But just being yeah, if it was DS2, then it wouldn't have failed. I'm gonna be honest, that is extremely rude, because the developers really, really worked hard on DA, and just constantly digging into DA is not gonna do anything for DS but hurt it, because the more crap you talk about Chicken's other projects and the more crap you give to those, the more he's gonna start to bring up that hate for this community again, because that's what initially killed DS. Everyone thinks it's the bad code. Everyone thinks, he couldn't update it, which is part of it, but probably the main thing is us. And I'm not innocent in this. I used to make hate content. I used to talk so much crap about UG, but all this hate content, it's not doing anything. You're not constructively criticizing. All you're saying is fix the game. You know, I hate, like, all this is crap. It's unbalanced. Fix it. That's all you're saying. You're not giving any constructive criticism. You're not saying, you know, this is broken. Here's how you fix it. This is broken. Here's how you should fix it. You're not giving anything. You're just digging into the development team, which is, again, doing absolutely nothing. It is doing zero. It is not helping anyone. You're just being rude at that point. And again, I'm going to reiterate this because I'm coming off probably a little bit rude myself. I'm not trying to dig at this guy. You know, he's a content creator. He's allowed to, you know, openly express how he feels. But with saying that, I am also allowed to openly express how I feel towards this. And, you know, hopefully shine some light. And, you know, rebuttal, you know, some points. And not as much argue, but have a conversation as much as I can in front of an audience.
You have all these Megavore skins, and the only one that's good is the normal Megavore. You know what I mean? There doesn't really seem to be a thing with range and combat. It doesn't really seem to go hand in hand with either like rarity or, more importantly, value. How much a skin costs. So yeah, this is my take.
On his last point where he's like, you know, cost and rarity. Like I said previously, cost and rarity shouldn't be the only thing considered. You got to consider new players. You got to understand availability. You know, you don't want everything that's expensive and rare to be overpowered because not everybody has a Wraith Terror, right? As much as I wish Wraith Terror was meta, I understand why it's not. It's because not everybody has a Wraith Terror because as it currently stands, it's probably still at least 2 hybrids worth. And not everybody has 2 hybrids worth. But, you know, some people have a hybrid. They might have an albino. And they might still want to use their albino. And it wouldn't be fair to them if, you know, everyone who had Wraith Terror just absolutely decimated them. As a conclusion to this video, speaking from, you know, personal experience, you know, myself, I have several hours in DS, probably more than most, you know, normal players have in DS. And I can tell that, you know, as much as in his video, he came off, you know, a little bit rude and spiteful towards the development, you know, I can understand that it came from a place, you know, of love. Like, he genuinely seems like he appreciates the game, and it's one probably, you know, in his top like 5 games that he likes to play, maybe 10, 20. And like I said, don't go after this guy. And I'm gonna go ahead and link his video in the comments. Make sure if you watch this video, go watch his video as well. I don't want to take his viewerships. I just want to have a conversation about this. Make sure to go watch his video. Make sure to go subscribe to his channel because, you know, he seems to, you know, have a decent following and, you know, could always use more subscribers. But like I said, going after development, you know, talking about this kind of stuff and just saying, oh, fix it, that's not enough, at least in my opinion. It's not enough to really say, and all you're doing is you're adding, you know, fuel to the fire of, you know, UG dev hate. When you know, I know some of the developers, you know, not all of them. I don't know them personally. They're not all my friends. They're people like everybody else. They're as human as, you know, your parents. They're as human as you know, your friends. And, you know, the negative sentiment towards the whole development team and the constant, you know, trash talking towards the development team, it's just, it gets nobody anywhere. And that was my main takeaway from this video, is that whilst he had some valid points in his video, a lot of it was just to dig at development. I don't want to go out and say that he doesn't pay attention, but if you were just there, and if you were to, you know, tune in to the streams like I have been, you know, hopping on stage in UG Discord, you know, watching the devs, you know, listening to what they're saying, being just overall engulfed in the community and understanding what's going on, you would know for a fact that the game is being fixed. The game is being updated. All these things that you said, all these problems you said, are being worked on. The dev team knows about these issues and is currently working on them and have been working on them. So, you know, I understand the sentiment you have, though. It's understandable. It's fair. You're allowed to voice your opinion. Like I said, you're more than welcome to voice your opinion. But honestly, I want to know what you guys in the comments think. And obviously, no toxicity towards this guy. Do not, and I will say this again, do not go after this guy. Do not be rude to him. Do not be mean to him. He's another content creator, and his opinion is just as valid as mine is. Right? Even if you disagree with him, even if you think he's being rude towards the development, be cordial in conversation and talk like humans. But anyways, guys, that'll be all for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!